Ken Shave is back over there. First I want to just say very briefly, Eric, I want to say very briefly, I don't want to call anybody out, but Mitch has 2 glasses in his hand, so really, I don't know how he's going to eat, but, so, are you videotaping? No, I'm not on the video.
Yes, you are.
First, thanks everyone for coming, and I'm so glad you were going to be here. I don't know if anyone has been to Ari Moses' house, Ari Moses and Shana Moses, who I don't see here, but they're your hosts for tonight.
Thank you.
Myself as well, I'm hosting, and Eric Sultan as well, sitting there, just quietly eating some cheese. Little mouse in the corner.
And Jason is really the organizer of the evening. He's not giving himself enough credit. So.
Really through my association with David Schwecki over here, I've met Rabbi Sutton, who's had a profound influence on myself and any of the people that have ever really met him. So I encourage all of you to maybe look at some of his books and his website, and some of his Torahs are going to be online. David Schwecki has a bunch online and some on Facebook, and I think you'll find something very special. So without any more ado, from Yerushalayim, Rabbi Avram Sutton.
Hi. I'll start standing. We'll see where it goes. Okay. Hi. Shalom, shalom. Kind of just move from the social level to feeling the energy in the room, silence, and the place where we are high up in the 6th floor, and the sounds from the outside, and be aware of them. You can close your eyes, you can open your eyes, and that we're all here. Some of us know each other, some of us don't. And be aware of our surroundings, our environment. It's centered inside of us. Be ready to share, whether you share vocally or silently, but we're sharing something all of us together. I'll try and say some things that really are important to me and share them with you. And I want to actually present before you the two maslulim, the two types of things that I write about and talk about, and see what interests you most. And really they go together. But we'll kind of split them for a moment and see, talk about one first and the other one next. One I call the cosmological teachings of Judaism, and involving things like what is this world in the Jewish view? What's the physics, the cosmology of the ancient Jewish teachings? Very interesting. The prophetic teachings, how we conceive of the creation of the universe, and why God creates the universe, where God is when He creates the universe, but doesn't seem to be here anymore, almost certainly not at first sight. Some of the ideas behind that are, where it's all going, using the stories of the Torah and the sages and the prophetic things that they said, and the funny things they said, the stories they told, to kind of weave together a deeper picture than most people are really aware of. Something that once you see it, you start to take Judaism a little bit more seriously. And it's really a profound teaching. And you get angry at the fact that most teachers are not teaching it that way. Most kids have no awareness of it. They're not told anything like this. For some stupid reason that people say, well, we can't share the deep stuff with them. Well, obviously, there's something, at least now, if that was ever true before, it's not true now, because the world is deep. The media is deep. Buddhism is deep. Islam is deep. Christianity is deep. Chinese philosophy is deep. Healing is deep. All the different things that are going on the planet is a marketplace of profound ideas. Physics is deep. Astrophysics is deep. Well, Judaism, well, we don't talk about deep things. It's absurd. So we have to find a language that's like we can understand each other and say, some of the deep things in a way that we can start to understand them and own them and be proud that we are part of something that's like incredibly deep, but happy and fun also. And good and positive and inclusive and universal and not exclusive, that no, you can't be of all. No, it's inclusive of all mankind. The real Jewish vision is tremendously universal. And when you equip yourself with the primary sources, then nobody can play around with your head and tell you, well, that's only somebody's idea, sorry, we don't hold like that. Well, sorry, you equip yourself with the primary sources, then you are in a position. I'm not into arguing, I don't debate anybody, but if anybody wants to hear, I can tell them some nice things, right? And it's nice to be able to do that. Anyway, so that's one thing. The other thing, before I go into it, the other thing is that what I would call the personal relationship with God. Who am I? What am I doing here? Why was I born in the family I was born into? And why was it so screwed up? Excuse the expression. And what dysfunctional, and why did I have to become the way I was, and to have the makeup in it, the difficult personality and psychological makeup, the depressions, and the having to fight, the struggle to be who I am. Like 61 years old, I'm already a grandfather, and I'm still having an identity crisis. Not exactly, but I mean, I know a little bit more than who I am nowadays, but I'm still a struggler. I'm still somebody who wants more always, who's never satisfied with what I am and what I've done so far. And questions of that nature of what Judaism has to offer us in the terms of a depth psychology of who we are. And it goes into the question of soul, of neshama. What do we know about neshama? And so, and then it goes into, well, how do I not just talk about it and think about it and know a little bit about it, but how do I experience neshama? So we have meditation, actual meditative techniques that are really nice. And very life-giving, and they're very basic. They're not like only for advanced people who can do all this talk about this can only be done by advanced people. All that, in my opinion, anything is real. It's true. Just like a physics teacher if you can't explain it to your kid, right? Then you don't know it well enough. You know that principle, right? If it's hard for me to explain it to somebody who doesn't know about it, or you can say it in the positive, somebody who truly understands the depths of physics can explain it to a child. So the same thing here about soul, about meditation, about things that are basic to our existence that we take for granted, and that could help us be an entryway into a deeper relationship with ourselves and with this thing we call God, the infinite being who made us. A personal relationship, what sometimes I call the vertical relationship. That the idea that I thought of once, maybe some of you have thought of it also, is that based on the image of the ladder of Yaakov's the Sulam Yaakov, that he saw the vision. And he saw angels going up and coming down, and all kinds of nice things about that. But the fact that the ladder is vertical, it means that the Zohar says that ladder is the ladder of his soul, and that at the top of the ladder is what's called Shorosh Neshama, the root of his soul, rooted up in the spiritual dimension, and only an aspect of Yaakov comes down, and that applies to every single one of us. And as we come down here, we become more aware, we grow into maturity, we can, so to speak, bring more of the higher parts of ourselves down into this little body and become more whole, more integrated, more harmoniously able to operate in this world with a higher consciousness and yet still be grounded and be able to do things. And that's really what a Jew is about, not somebody who's only up there or who's only down here. We're people of two worlds. In terms of numbers, which I happen to like, this is very simple, it's very beautiful. There's 6, 7s, and 8s. 6 is the 6 directions of space, up and down, north, east, west, and south. And the cube, which is 6-sided. 3-dimensional space has 6 sides, 6 directions. And the concept of 7 is the middle point, the center point, the meeting of all the diagonals of the cube, or the meeting at the intersection of all the different directions up and down northeast, west, south. 7 is kind of what I call the soul or the nucleus